Look around you. Many people dedicate their lives to work, following conventional wisdom, yet still struggle financially. The promise of hard work leading to prosperity often feels unfulfilled. Why do so many remain broke despite their efforts? Is there a deeper, hidden truth? What if the answer isn't in another strategy, but in an ancient, profound Jewish law, a powerful, universal principle that explains this perplexing reality and offers a radical path to true abundance? I am Rabbi David, and for decades I have delved into the profound wisdom of our ancient texts, seeking to uncover the timeless truths that illuminate our modern lives. Before we start, if you are serious about going from financial struggle to financial freedom using 3,000 years of ancient Torah wisdom, then check out the Torah Millionaire Business School. You can find the link in the description, on my channel, or simply scan the QR code in the banner. Today, we embark on a journey to explore one such truth, a Jewish law that, when understood and applied, can transform your relationship with money, effort, and ultimate prosperity. The universal desire for financial security often leads to conventional strategies like budgeting and investing. While useful, these often fall short because true, lasting prosperity isn't just economic, it's about aligning with spiritual principles. The ancient Jewish tradition offers a profound framework for holistic abundance through three interconnected pillars: bitachon, parnassah, and tzedakah. These are powerful economic laws, spiritual algorithms that, when understood, unlock blessing and transform your financial reality. #A. Understanding bitachon, more than just belief. Let us begin with bitachon, often translated as trust or reliance in GD. It is an unwavering conviction that GD will provide for you, a profound inner certainty that transcends circumstances. Bitachon is more active than Emunah. It's a living trust in GD's benevolent providence over your personal life. Jewish law mandates both diligent effort and complete reliance on GD. We are commanded to work, to use our talents, but after our utmost effort, we must recognize that the ultimate outcome is in GD's hands. The Talmud, in Pirkei Avot, teaches, "It is not your duty to finish the work, but neither are you at liberty to neglect it." This highlights the balance. We plant the seeds, but GD controls the rain. The sages teach that GD provides for all his creatures, how much more so for humans who strive. Our efforts are the vessel, but GD is the source of blessing. Imagine crossing a turbulent river. Your hishtadlut is to row with all your might, but your bitachon is the deep conviction that a divine hand is guiding you to the other side. This active trust frees you from paralyzing fear and incessant worry, allowing you to make decisions from strength. It helps you see setbacks as lessons on a divinely orchestrated path. This profound trust is crucial for financial struggle. Many lack bitachon, rowing furiously without conviction in a larger benevolent design. #B. Parnassah. The divine flow of livelihood. Now, let us turn our attention to parnassah, often translated simply as livelihood or income. Parnassah in Jewish thought is a far richer and more expansive concept. It is not merely the money you earn or the resources you acquire. Parnassah encompasses the entire flow of sustenance, well-being, and the means necessary to fulfill your unique purpose in this world. It's about having what you need when you need it to live a life of meaning and contribution. It's a holistic concept that includes not just financial wealth, but also health, opportunities, relationships, and the spiritual energy to thrive. As we discussed with bitachon, the concept of parnassah does not negate the necessity of effort. In fact, it empowers it. We are taught that we are partners with GD in the ongoing act of creation. Our work, our endeavors, our professions are not just secular activities. They are sacred opportunities to bring GD's blessings into the world. The Jewish tradition places immense value on honest labor. The Talmud states that a person should prefer to eat dry bread and work hard rather than be dependent on others. This underscores the dignity and spiritual significance of earning one's living. However, there's a critical distinction to be made regarding hishtadlut, our effort. While we must exert ourselves, there's a fine line between diligent effort and excessive, anxiety-driven striving. The sages teach that one should make a reasonable effort but not overexert oneself to the point of anxiety or losing trust in GD. If you believe that your success is solely a result of your own Herculean efforts, you will inevitably fall into a trap of fear and exhaustion. You will constantly feel the weight of the world on your shoulders, believing that if you stop pushing, everything will collapse. This is a misunderstanding of Parnassa. True Parnassa comes from GD, and our efforts are merely the channels through which that blessing flows. Imagine a faucet. You turn the handle and water flows out, but the water doesn't originate in the handle, it comes from a vast reservoir. If you believe the handle is the source, you might try to turn it harder and harder, or even break it in your desperation for more water. But the wise person understands that the handle is just a mechanism, and the true source is beyond it. Our efforts are the handle, GD is the reservoir. Talmudic insights abound regarding work and blessings. There's a profound teaching that GD's blessing is often found in the hidden, not in the obvious. Sometimes a small effort yields disproportionately large results, while at other times immense effort seems to produce little. This is a testament to the concept of min ha-shamayim, that ultimate success and blessing come from above, regardless of the apparent means. It's not always about working harder. Sometimes it's about working smarter, and always it's about working with the right intention and trust. Consider the story of Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai and his son, Rabbi Elazar. After emerging from a cave where they had studied Torah for 12 years, they saw people plowing and sowing. Rabbi Shimon exclaimed, "These people abandon eternal life and engage in temporal life." A heavenly voice then declared, "Have you emerged to destroy my world? Go back to your cave." This story, while extreme, highlights the balance. While Torah study is paramount, engaging in the world, in productive labor, is also essential. It's about finding the sacred in the mundane, seeing our work as a means to elevate the physical world and bring holiness into it. In practical application, cultivating a mindset of Parnassa means seeing your work, whatever it may be, as a spiritual endeavor. It means approaching your tasks with diligence, integrity, and a sense of purpose, knowing that you are not just earning a paycheck, but participating in a divine process. It means being grateful for every opportunity, every client, every sale, every successful project, recognizing them as blessings from the ultimate provider. It means understanding that the outcome is ultimately in GD's hands, which frees you from the crushing pressure of needing to control every variable. This perspective transforms work from a burdensome necessity into a meaningful act of partnership with the divine. #C. Tzedakah. The economic law of giving. This brings us to the third pillar, tzedakah. In common parlance, tzedakah is often translated as charity. However, this translation misses the profound depth of the concept. The Hebrew root of tzedakah is tzedek, which means righteousness or justice. Therefore, tzedakah is not merely an act of benevolence or kindness. It is an act of justice, a fulfillment of a divine obligation, and a fundamental economic principle in Judaism. It is a spiritual law of circulation, a mechanism designed to ensure the equitable distribution of GD's blessings and to open the channels for further abundance. The Torah introduces the concept of ma'aser, or tithing, which is the practice of giving 10% of one's earnings to those in need or to support religious institutions. This is not presented as an optional donation, but as a foundational practice, a spiritual investment. It is a way of acknowledging that everything we have ultimately comes from GD, and by returning a portion to Him through tzedakah, we affirm our trust in His continued provision. It's a powerful statement of bitachon in action. When you give maaser, you are essentially saying, GD, I trust that you will provide for my 90% even more than I could provide for 100% on my own. Consider the profound verses in Deuteronomy 14:22-29, which discuss the various tithes. The Torah promises that if you faithfully give your tithes, the Lord your GD will bless you in all the work of your hands. This is not a suggestion, it is a divine promise, an economic law. The act of giving tzedakah is not a drain on your resources. It is an investment that yields spiritual and often material returns. The Midrash teaches that GD says, "Test me with this tithing, and see if I will not open the windows of heaven for you and pour out a blessing for you without measure." This is the only area in which GD explicitly invites us to test Him. Proverbs 11:24-25 beautifully encapsulates this paradox. There is one who scatters, yet increases more, and there is one who withholds more than is right, but it leads to poverty. The generous soul will be made rich, and he who waters will also be watered himself. This is a counterintuitive truth to conventional economics, which often teaches scarcity and hoarding. Jewish wisdom, however, reveals that giving actually creates more abundance. It's like a spiritual irrigation system. When you water the fields of others, your own field also receives nourishment. When you share your blessings, you create space for more blessings to flow into your life. Let me share a classic Talmudic story that illustrates this principle. There was a man named Nachum Ish Gamzu. He was known for his unwavering faith and his generosity. Whatever happened to him, good or bad, he would always say, Gam Zulitova, this too is for the good. Once, he was sent by the sages with a valuable gift for the Roman emperor. On the way, he stayed at an inn, and during the night, thieves stole the precious jewels from his chest and replaced them with dirt. When he arrived before the emperor and opened the chest, he found only dirt. The emperor was furious, believing he was being mocked, and ordered Nachum Ish Gamzu to be executed. Nachum, however, calmly said, Gamzu Latova. A wise man in the emperor's court, who knew Jewish tradition, suggested that perhaps this was the very dirt with which Abraham had defeated his enemies. The emperor, intrigued, tested this theory in battle, and indeed, the dirt turned into miraculous weapons, granting him victory. The emperor then honored Nachum Ish Gamzu greatly, filling his chest with gold and jewels. This story, while miraculous, highlights the principle that even in apparent loss, when one maintains faith and generosity, GD can turn adversity into immense blessing. It's a testament to the power of bitachon and the ultimate reward for those who live by these principles. Integrating tzedakah into your financial life is not just about fulfilling a religious obligation, it's about activating a powerful economic law. It's about consciously choosing to be a channel for GD's blessings rather than a dam that hoards them. It's about understanding that true wealth is not measured by how much you accumulate, but by how much you give and how much you impact the world around you. By practicing tzedakah, you are not diminishing your resources, you are expanding your capacity to receive. You are demonstrating your trust in GD's abundance, and in turn, GD opens the floodgates of blessing. #D. The interconnection. Why most people stay broke now? Let us synthesize these three profound concepts: bitachon, parnasah, and tzedakah. The reason why most people work 40 years and stay broke despite their best efforts lies in their failure to grasp and integrate these interconnected Jewish laws into their lives. They are missing one or more of these crucial components, and without them, the engine of true, lasting prosperity cannot run effectively. Many people operate from a place of profound lack of bitachon. They work with an underlying current of anxiety, fear, and a pervasive sense of scarcity. They believe that success is solely dependent on their own limited efforts, their own ingenuity, their own ability to manipulate circumstances. This mindset is exhausting. It leads to burnout, to constant worry, and to a feeling that they must control every single variable. When setbacks occur, as they inevitably do in life, these individuals are crushed, seeing them as personal failures rather than divinely orchestrated detours or lessons. They miss opportunities for divine intervention because they are so focused on their own strength, they forget to lean on the ultimate strength. They are rowing the boat, but they are convinced there is no shore or that the boat is destined to sink. This constant fear closes off the channels of blessing, making it incredibly difficult for true parnasah to flow. Furthermore, there is often a misunderstanding of parnasah. Many view work as a burden, a necessary evil, or merely a means to an end, a way to earn a paycheck and survive. They do not recognize the inherent sanctity of labor, nor do they see their profession as a sacred partnership with GD. When work is devoid of purpose beyond mere survival, it becomes draining and unfulfilling. This perspective prevents them from tapping into the deeper well springs of blessing that are available when one approaches their livelihood as a spiritual endeavor. They are turning the faucet handle, but they don't believe in the reservoir, so they are constantly frustrated by the perceived limitations of the handle itself. And perhaps most critically, many neglect tzedakah. Out of fear, out of a scarcity mindset, they hoard their resources, believing that every dollar given away is a dollar lost. They fail to understand the spiritual law of circulation, that giving creates receiving, that by being a channel for blessing, you invite more blessing into your own life. They are like a stagnant pond, holding on to every drop of water, fearing that if they let any go, they will dry up. But a pond that never gives, never receives fresh water, eventually becomes murky and lifeless. The Jewish law of tzedakah teaches us to be like a flowing river, constantly giving and receiving, vibrant and alive. By closing off the channels of giving, they inadvertently close off the channels of receiving, thereby perpetuating their own financial struggle. The modern trap is that society often encourages a mindset that is antithetical to these profound Jewish principles. We are bombarded with messages of hyper-individualism, where self-reliance is lauded above all else, often to the exclusion of divine reliance. Materialism reigns supreme, equating worth with possessions, leading to an endless cycle of wanting more and never feeling enough. Fear-based financial decisions are rampant, driven by market fluctuations, economic forecasts, and the constant pressure to keep up with others. This environment fosters anxiety, scarcity, and a profound disconnect from the spiritual truths that govern true abundance. Let me give you a real-world example. Consider two individuals working in similar professions, earning similar incomes. One operates with a deep sense of bitachon. They work diligently, but without crippling anxiety. They see their work as a means to contribute, to use their talents, and they trust that GD will provide. They are generous with their tzedakah, understanding it as an investment in their spiritual and material well-being. When challenges arise, they face them with equanimity, knowing that GD is with them. The other individual, however, is constantly stressed. They work tirelessly, driven by fear of not having enough. They view their income as solely dependent on their own efforts, leading to immense pressure. They are hesitant to give tzedakah, believing they can't afford it. When faced with adversity, they become overwhelmed and despair. Over time, despite similar starting points, the first individual often finds themselves experiencing a greater sense of peace, more opportunities, and a more consistent flow of parnassah, while the second remains perpetually anxious and financially constrained. It's not magic, it's the application of these timeless Jewish laws. #E, the path to true abundance. So, what is the path forward? How can you break free from the cycle of working hard and staying broke? It begins with a fundamental shifting of perspective. It requires you to look beyond the purely material and embrace the spiritual dimensions of wealth and livelihood. It means recognizing that your financial reality is not just a result of external circumstances or your own limited efforts, but is deeply intertwined with your inner state of trust, your approach to your work, and your willingness to share. Here are some actionable mindset shifts you can begin to cultivate. Embrace active bitachon. Consciously work on developing an unwavering trust in GD as your ultimate provider. This doesn't mean abandoning effort. It means performing your efforts with an inner calm and certainty that the outcome is ultimately in his hands. When anxiety creeps in, remind yourself of GD's boundless capacity to provide. Pray for bitachon. Meditate on stories of divine providence. See challenges not as roadblocks, but as opportunities for GD to reveal his hand. Approach parnassah with purpose. Reframe your work. See it not just as a job, but as a sacred mission, a way to utilize your unique talents to contribute to the world and bring holiness into it. Approach your tasks with diligence, integrity, and gratitude. Understand that your livelihood is a divine flow and your efforts are the vessel. This shift in perspective can transform even the most mundane tasks into acts of spiritual significance, opening you up to greater blessings. Embrace tzedakah as a path to prosperity. Make giving a non-negotiable part of your financial life. Start with ma'aser, tithing 10% of your net income. If that feels daunting, start with a smaller, consistent percentage and gradually increase it as your trust grows. See tzedakah not as an expense, but as an investment, a spiritual mechanism that opens the channels of abundance. Give with a joyful heart, knowing that you are participating in a divine economic law that guarantees return. This is a journey, not an overnight fix. It requires consistent effort, introspection, and faith. There will be moments of doubt, moments when the old anxieties try to resurface, but by consciously choosing to integrate bitachon, parnassah, and tzedakah into your daily life, you begin to align yourself with the spiritual laws of prosperity. You move from a place of scarcity and fear to a place of abundance and trust. You transform your relationship with money, and in doing so, you transform your life. Let me share one more dimension of this Jewish law that most people never consider. The Talmud in Tractate Bava Batra teaches us about the concept of Yishuv Hada'at, a settled, calm mind. The sages understood that financial anxiety is not just a practical problem, it is a spiritual problem. When your mind is constantly worried about money, you cannot think clearly. You cannot make good decisions. You cannot hear the voice of God guiding you toward your purpose. This is why the Jewish approach to wealth is not just about earning more money. It is about building a life where money serves you, rather than you serving money. The person who works 40 years and stays broke is often trapped in a cycle of reactive decision-making. Every financial decision is made from a place of fear and urgency. They spend money to relieve anxiety. They avoid investments because the risk feels too great. They never build because they are always just trying to survive. The Torah teaches us a different way. In Proverbs, King Solomon writes, The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. Notice the word diligent, in Hebrew, sharutz. This word does not mean working harder, it means being sharp, precise, and shalom.